60 Minutes Rewind.
Of all the great British actors of the past half-century, none are more respected or honored than Dame Maggie Smith. She is most familiar now as the Dowager Countess on Downton Abbey, which concludes its third season later tonight on PBS. She's won 2 Oscars, 3 Emmys, and a Tony Award, all wrapped around a long and illustrious career on the British stage. At age 78, she is at the peak of her fame, much in demand, and quite bankable. Last spring's The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel was a surprise hit, and there is a new film out, Quartet, directed by Dustin Hoffman. She doesn't have much time or interest in giving interviews, which she's compared to testifying in court. They're a rarity. We were fortunate enough to get one.
You seem to have no interest in celebrity and fame.
Absolutely none. I mean, why?
Do you accept the fact that you're a star?
If you say so. Yes, I don't feel any different to the way I felt before, and I'm not quite sure what it means. I am familiar to people now, which is what I was not before. That is entirely due to the television set.
She's talking about Downton Abbey, the highbrow British soap opera that follows the intrigues of an aristocratic family and their servants at the turn of the last century. It's drawn critical acclaim and record audiences in Britain and for PBS's masterpiece series here in the U.S., due in large part to Maggie Smith's portrayal of Violet, the imperious, sharp-tongued Dowager Countess of Grantham.
Mamma, may I present Matthew Crawley and Mrs. Crawley, my mother, Lady Grantham?
What should we call each other?
Well, we could always start with Mrs. Crawley and Lady Grantham.
Her role as a privileged matriarch coping with the intrusions of the modern world has become one of the most memorable in a storied career and has already won her 2 Emmy Awards.
I'm so looking forward to seeing your mother again. When I'm with her, I'm reminded of the virtues of the English.
But isn't she American?
Exactly.
Did you have any idea that Downton Abbey was going to be this successful?
No, I don't. I know. A whole very startled group of people, you know. I mean, very pleased, but very amazed.
You're proud of it?
Yes, well, yes, of course I am. I was just thinking, pausing, because I haven't actually seen it, so I don't sit down and watch it.
Never?
No, I haven't watched it.
You must be the only person in England who's not watching it.
Well, that's a record then, isn't it? Of some sort.
Don't you have a desire to see how the whole thing turned out? You do it in bits and pieces?
Oh, I will look at it when it's all over, maybe. Because it's frustrating. I always see things that I would like to do differently and think, oh, why in the name of God did I do that?
But if you don't watch the finished product, what do you get out of it?
It's the delight of acting.
It was a childhood obsession that turned into a 60-year career, despite early advice from her grandmother that she wasn't pretty enough to be an actress and should learn to type. She made her Broadway debut at 21 and was later recruited by Sir Laurence Olivier to join Britain's National Theatre. She was already one of Britain's preeminent actresses when she first came to the attention of most Americans with the prime of Miss Jean Brodie.
Morning, girls.
A film about a spirited teacher who becomes embroiled in scandal at an all-girls school. It won her the Academy Award for Best Actress.
If scandal is to your taste, Miss Mackay, I shall give you a feast. Miss Brodie, I am a teacher. I am a teacher first, last, always. Do you imagine that for one instant I will let that be taken from me without a fight?
It's been 44 years since you won your first Oscar.
Jesus, is it?
1969.
Dear God, yeah.
What do you think your greatest talent is?
I really don't know. If I knew, I would maybe teach or something. I'm glad I have it, but I really don't know what it is, and I don't think actors can actually put a finger on it.
You've worked with everybody. Olivier, Gielgud, Burton, Michael Caine, Albert Finney, Judi Dench, Alan Rickman, Michael Gambon. I mean, there's so many. You have any favorites?
I'd be mad if I said.
Michael Caine said that you steal every movie that you're in.
Oh, that's far from true. He's a pretty good scene stealer.
They worked together in 1978 in the film California Suite.
Where are you going?
I need another drink.
She played Diana Barry, a strung-out, Oscar-nominated actress in Los Angeles for the Academy Awards. Michael Caine played her bisexual husband.
I have never hidden behind closed doors, but I am discreet.
Discreet? You did everything but lick his artichoke.
In the film, Maggie's character did not win the Oscar, but Maggie did for her performance, Best Supporting Actress.
That looked like it was fun.
I found the director a bit tricky, a bit spiky.
What does that mean, spiky? That's a British term. People have called you spiky.
Bit sort of, yes, they did. He was jagged. He was very difficult, but when I got upset, somebody said, try not to be, because it happens to a lot of people, and Walter Matthau left the set the other day in tears. So that cheered me up a bit. I realised I wasn't the only one being picked on.
Is it all right to libel this man? Is he above ground?
He's no longer with us. But I had nothing to do with his demise. Really, I didn't.
She once said, I don't tolerate fools, and they don't tolerate me.
Oh, that's tacky. That's really tacky.
Leave it.
She's made a career playing spiky characters, and given her stature as an actress and the pressure she puts on herself for perfection, she admits being terrified before every take. She can be an intimidating presence on the set.
So, everybody says you're a real professional.
I hope so. It's about time now, isn't it?
That you're a perfectionist, that you take it very seriously, that you have no time for low standards.
You're trying to say that I'm what everybody says. They always seem to think that I'm scary, and I understand that totally. Old people are scary, and I have to face it. I am old and I am scary, and I'm very, very sorry about it. But I don't know what you do.
I was concerned enough to ask somebody who had worked with you if he had any advice. And he said, don't let her smell your fear.
Who said this?
I can't tell you.
I insist upon knowing who this dreadful person was.
Well, it wasn't Julian Fellowes, the writer and creator of Downton Abbey. He agrees that Maggie can be difficult, but he says it's always about the work.
It's never about having a pink dressing room. You know, that's not it at all. It's about whether or not this scene works. Is this the right prop? You're hurrying. That thing is wrong. For me, her bothering is worth attending to and listening to, because she ends up with a better product.
Lady Grantham in Downton Abbey is not the first role Fellowes created with Maggie Smith in mind.
Ooh, yummy. Yummy, yummy, yummy.
She was also the inspiration for the Countess of Trentham in Gosford Park, a performance that earned her one of her 6 Oscar nominations.
She has a style as an actress which is very, very rewarding for a writer. She's very dry. She has this strength, this kind of emotional strength that is also underlying every laugh she gets. Mm-hmm. So if you write her a funny line or a reasonably funny line, she'll make it very funny.
Oh, don't worry. Your turn will come.
Will it? Or am I just to be the maiden aunt?
Don't be defeatist, dear. It's very middle class.
How important is Maggie Smith to Downton Abbey?
Maggie is probably the hardest one to replace, can we put it like that? She would be, I think, the greatest loss.
Don't worry, it's not in the script or on the storyboards, and Dame Maggie is signed on for season 4 of Downton Abbey, which is now filming. At 78 and a breast cancer survivor, she displays no appetite for slowing down. Quartet, her 53rd film, which is now in theaters, is about a retirement home for opera singers. Guess who's the diva?
This is not a retirement home, this is a madhouse.
It was directed by Dustin Hoffman, another strong-willed actor, in his first effort behind the camera.
It was a great treat. Such a relief to know that the person behind the camera knew exactly how you were feeling, and when you had problems doing something, knew exactly why. He'd been in that position himself, and understood it inside out.
How did you get along?
Perfectly. I mean, she did what she should do. In the middle of a scene, she'd say, I don't know what the bleep this scene is about. And, you know, strong and hard, and the whole crew goes like this. And I literally enjoy it when that happens.
He got Maggie Smith to say a word that she'd never uttered in more than 50 movies, and she delivered it with the authority of a Dame Commander of the British Empire, which she is.
I'm going to say something very rude to you. F*** you. Yeah, and you.
The F-bomb scene. She said that she's never said it in a movie before.
Well, Maggie, you certainly said it in life. It's one of her favorite words in life. That's one of the main reasons I love her. She's a sailor.
Hoffman and Smith had become great friends, and she relaxed noticeably when he joined our interview. Two septuagenarians still in the game.
How are you dealing with the whole aging thing?
I don't like it at all. But then I don't know who does. Noel Coward, I don't mean to name drop, but he said the awful thing about getting old is that you have breakfast every half hour. And that's sort of what it is. I can't understand why everything has to go so fast.
She has two sons from her first marriage to Robert Stevens, her co-star in the prime of Miss Jean Brodie, and both of them are successful actors who visit regularly. She remarried to playwright Beverly Cross, who was the love of her life.
Your second husband passed away.
Some time ago now.
Is it lonely?
I don't know, it seems a bit pointless.
What seems pointless?
Going on one's own. And not having someone to share it with.
But you have no interest in finding someone else?
Absolutely not. No, no way.
How many grandchildren?
5.
Can you deal with that?
Yeah.
You like it?
They're wonderful. They're wonderful.
She lives very comfortably now, splitting time between her house in London and a place in the country. Her only annoyances being a tricky hip and the unwanted celebrity of being a TV star. The 7 Harry Potter films she appeared in provided her with what she calls her pension and a legacy with a new generation as Professor McGonagall, plus a decade of memories with her young co-stars.
Potter, take Weasley with you. He looks far too happy over there. It was extraordinary to see them grow up like that. 10 years of their lives. Half their lives, that is, in fact.
And you didn't change at all?
No, I just got meaner and meaner. Spikier and spikier. No, I didn't change at all.
What do you look forward to?
I guess just to go on.
Well, there's season 4.
There is indeed season 4, but I mean, logically, Violet must be about 100 and something now, so I don't know how long she's going to last. I really don't.
Julian says he's never going to kill her off.
Then there'll have to be bath chairs and various things that they can push me around in.
He said they'll send you to the seaside, they'll never kill you off.
I think he'll have to.
Have you ever thought about retiring?
I think that the date for that has gone by. I fear that I won't work in the theatre again. I'm sad about that. But I won't retire. I think I'll keep going with Violet and whatever other old biddy comes along.